morning everybody, Steve from Bricks to Rubber. I hope you're all well and enjoying yourselves. It's certainly a bit cold this morning. Changing the weather has come quite quickly. Still got the high winds. Admittedly this morning there was a bit of hailstone. The temperature has dropped quite severely, but it's still reasonably comfy. It's bright outside at the moment. It's great. Okay, I want to spend a few minutes today just talking about one or two things that could be a problem in your van if you're living on the road. One or two little fixes really. Well, anyway, first thing, we'll start off, toilet facilities. These little cassette toilets are fantastic. They're good and they're necessary. I would suggest only using them in dire emergencies, for the simple reason the more we use them, the more we have to empty them. And to empty them correctly, we then need to go onto campsites or have a home base where we can flush the contents down our own toilets. So hence, when you're out on the road, you will be going onto campsites, which then you start paying for their facilities. So the more we use it, the more we need to empty it. Not the nicest of things to do. It's not just a simple matter of flushing it like you do at home. One or two things I found that I can make life easy with using these toilets, because one, they are slightly undersized for people, and they don't clean or they don't flush as well, because the water pressure used to flush the toilet itself doesn't have any great amount of power behind it, so it can be quite an arduous task after you've used the toilet to clean it. There's one way of doing it. It's called lily padding. Now that just involves putting toilet paper in the bowl in a lily pad fashion. It's probably better to use this. I use rolls and rolls of this type of paper in the van for everything. Put that in your bowl in a lily fashion, and then when you use your toilet, the contents drop down inside the paper in the bowl, leaving the bowl nice and clean into the holding tank, leaving the bowl nice and clean. It works. Another way of doing it, if you want, is actually using this sort of stuff. I presume you can see that we use for cooking. Yep, just spray the bowl of light spray around the exit area, and then when you flush, it flushes it all away without leaving any messy deposits that you've got to then clean up by hand. I'm sure you all know where I'm coming from. So that's one good way. Now it is essential when you enter these toilets that you do it correctly. You don't do it at the curbside, you don't do it in the lay-bys. That's not very nice. I'm sure you wouldn't like your children standing in that sort of stuff. So why should anybody else be expected to find their children are stood in it because we've been too lazy to move it? So you do it correctly. Use the correct facilities at the campsites. Campsites can be expensive or they can be cheap. They do know that people like myself, if we go on for weekends, we're going there to use the facilities and we will be charged accordingly. That's all part and parcel of it. Anyway. Number two, water, fresh water. A lot of vans, this van does, it has a holding tank underneath and a grey waste tank to take your dirty tap water away. My freshwater tank is 20 litres, my holding tank, grey tank, is 40 litres. You don't really want 20 litres of fresh water slopping about in your van while you're driving. It is essential that I have water to hand because of the nature I'm living in, the lay-bys, etc. I tend to use a 10 litre container which is in the toilet area, in the cupboard in the toilet area. I use that for my kettle for other general things, but not. I don't actually use the fresh water for washing, personal washing I mean here. Sometimes I will use it in the sink if I have to wash plates. I get away with that as much as I can by either using paper plates or using the toilet tissue. Toilet tissue. The kitchen roll for wiping the plates clean as much as I can. The one thing I do use for cleaning my teeth, personal washing, if I don't use the shower, I do use the shower once a week if I can, but that's another story. Is actually wasting a lot of water. I use the stick in the rag method of washing, which most people in camper vans use anyway. I go to the likes of Morrison's or Tesco's and buy the cheapest lemonade possible. At Morrison's at the moment they do 2 litres of lemonade for 17p. I use that lemonade for washing and brushing my teeth. When I use it for washing, I've got an old kettle there. I put the lemonade into the kettle, I slightly warm it up, I transfer it into the washing bowl. In the washing bowl then I put my flannel and I add a tap. I add a I don't really want to turn this off, I'm not going to. I then add a cap full of Dettol or TCP to the water and the flannel, rinse the flannel out in the water, and then that's how I have my wash. The TCP or the Dettol is a germ killer. If it can kill the germs, it kills the odours as well, and it does work. It's just a quick fix. It's by no means the best method to do any form of washing. You can't beat having a full-blown shower or a bath if you're lucky, but it's a good standby and it does the job. Okay, so that's one way of saving your water. It's paramount, I think, you save your water. The area I'm in now, I know this area quite well. There is only 3 outdoor taps that I can lay my hands on and use freely. 3 in a big area. Considering this area is full of beaches, it's very, very popular for surfers, there is no taps that you can freely use to wash yourselves off. There is nowadays little showers where you contribute 20p to an outside shower, but I wouldn't recommend using water out the shower head as drinking water. I've managed to find 3 taps. One's at Morrison's, which I do ask permission to use, and they're fine. The other 2 taps, one's on an outside wall of a private residence, which you have to be careful, and the other one is at a beachside cafe, again, which you really need permission, but if you go at the right time of night, not really a problem. So it's not an easy thing to find the water. It's alright saying we go to churchyards. I've been to all the churchyards around this area. There isn't any outside taps. In fact, most of the churchyards around these areas nowadays are that old that they do not use the graveyards anymore. They're not in use, they're only in use for services, really. So that's something to bear in mind. Conserve your water, save as much water as you possibly can, because when you need it, you need it. I use possibly 2 litres water a day. That's the equivalent of 4 cups of tea and a wash, or washing a few dishes, etc., or wiping surfaces down. 2 litres of water a day. That's a lot of water, especially when you're out in the sticks, because some of the places I park up, you're probably, well, I'm 9 miles away from the main city, the main town now, which is Bude. Again, I'm 9 miles away from there. I have to travel 9 miles up there to find any form of services. There isn't a garage or a shop between me and Bude now. There certainly isn't a church. There'll be no water facilities. I'm actually parked outside two of the main camping grounds or camping sites of Bude. One is Bude Meadows Touring Park. I'm right outside their entrance now in a big lay-by, and 90 metres this way is one of the other big parks, which I can't remember the name of it. Oh, Widmouth Bay, I think it. Widmouth Bay Touring Park. Big, popular, open all the year round. There's one or two people on this particular site now. I can see over the hedgerow there. There's one or two people actually on this site. 3 vans have gone off this morning, so they've been staying there overnight. Got a bit of snow and hailstone coming down now at the moment. Lovely. So yeah, that's it for now. Just common sense little things, trying to save the water and trying to stay away from facilities where I have to pay for the privilege of using them at the moment. That's all for now. I'm sorry about the mumbling and the mistakes. I don't want to start editing things. I'll be spending all day then just editing things to say 1 or 2 things to people. Thank you for all the people that are watching me, and for 1 or 2 of the people that have sent comments. I'll take it all to heart, and I'll do my best to meet your wishes. Thank you very much, everybody. Speak to you later. Bye bye.